The YouTube stream started. Just wait for LCTV.
Okay.
We're live on 22.
All right, thank you. So we will welcome you to our first Rec Commission meeting of 2021. And this is for January 12th, 2021. We have 7 members present. And we will call the meeting to order. So the first item is consideration of minutes from previous meetings. Peter had sent us the ones from December 22nd. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to review these.
Look good. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Burns, and that was Mr. Ruggles, right, with the second?
Yep.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor of,
Aye.
so we got aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstain, so that carries 7-0-0. I don't have to do a roll call vote every time, right, Steve? Not on something like that.
I think good, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's video, so we all saw each other.
That's right. All right, public input.
Mr. Chair, I don't see any members of the public joining tonight.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we will close public input. Facility and field requests. At this point, we haven't received any. Unless anybody knows of something that was given to them outside of the commission itself, no? All right, new business. Talent usage requests, reopening plans. So that was something we discussed, and I know LRBL, Steve, I don't know if you can sort of give us an update. I know LRBL met with the emergency planning team. Was there any information from that you wanted to share?
They did. They met and gave the same presentation they gave us, and we asked some questions. And when it was all said and done, it was our recommendation back to the Rec Commission as emergency management was not to open the town hall at this time. And
Okay.
did we share that with everyone? I sent that to you.
No,
I don't.
saw that.
I saw it on an email.
Okay.
So at this time, emergency management recommendation is not to open talent.
Does the emergency management, do they have, I know we don't want to open it right now, but is there guidance as to what we want to do, like as we're nearing the point where we're going to open? Do they have an idea of maybe giving us some guidance as to what we should be doing to prepare for that and what we could put in place?
I think it's going to be a joint effort between both. They'd like to see a plan coming out of us of what we think needs to be done. Then that they would do is they would actually give input to that plan. From a emergency standpoint, they'll look probably at CDC guidelines, recommendations, and so forth. Their biggest concern at this time was the cleaning of the hall and having consistent cleaning of the hall. It's great that parents want to help out and do it, but we have to have a consistency across the board. And also there's a big concern is once we open it for one group, it would have the domino effect, and then all the other groups would want to get in there.
Right. Is it possible for one of us to attend one of your meetings and maybe sort of get some ideas so we can start piecing something together?
I'm sure I just reach out to the chief and we can get you on there. It's every Wednesday we meet from 2 to 3.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if anybody else wants to do it, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind doing it. So, whenever you can get me on there, just to sort of start gathering some info so that we can maybe put a group together. It doesn't have to necessarily be a meeting. Maybe we can form some type of committee, just almost like a reopening committee to start getting some, get the groundwork done and put something together to put forth.
Definitely. I'll talk to the chief tomorrow and maybe we can get you on Wednesdays.
Okay, that'd be great. Did anybody want to have any thoughts on our reopening plan, or has anybody put any work into
Yeah,
it
so
yet?
Andy, when it comes to it, the bottom line is consistent cleaning and we don't have a janitorial service. Is that something we would be able to add into our budget next year, even though we don't have it planned at this time?
Our budget for 2021 or 2022?
I get it would be for 2021, right? Is because we'd need to open it and a janitorial service step in to make sure it's consistently cleaned.
Right. I believe at this point we don't have any opportunity to add anything to our budget. I mean, we could probably go towards, and we could probably talk to the town about, if there's any emergency funds that the state is allowing for this, to maybe utilize that if it's for.
Right, COVID response funds or something.
Right. But we wouldn't be able to.
The budgets are pretty much locked. There's a budget hearing on Thursday evening, outlining all the budget for the school in town, so.
One thing we had mentioned too is charging fees for certain groups just during this time for cleaning. But like not knowing what it costs, it's kind of hard to generate what that fee would be.
Yeah, I was going to just say that the other option is start charging fees, but how much, how often, how many times are people going to be in there? How many times is it going to need to be cleaned? And then we'll have to come up with a rough idea of the cost to charge back, a chargeback model.
And then if you have multiple groups in the same day, how do you clean between each group, or, so you get into a lot of that.
Yeah. So I guess maybe our best option at this point is, if there's a couple of us that sort of want to get together as a committee, it wouldn't be an official meeting, but something to at least start piecing some stuff together, maybe look at some costs and look at some structures, talk to some of the other towns, see what they're doing. Maybe model something after what the school is doing, as far as if they, because I know the school's not letting any outside groups in, and maybe they're getting a plan together for, when that's going to happen, when the Boy Scouts are coming in, or whatever, at the middle school, how they use the library for meetings and things. So maybe that's something we can do if there's anybody here interested in.
I'm willing to put my name in and help out.
Yeah, I would help out with that too, Andy.
So if you want to find out what the school's doing, I think Dave Ross would be the guy to reach out to.
Okay.
Now, who's he, Steve?
He's the head of facilities.
Okay.
For school district.
Mike, he's the one that we coordinated the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Right. He's a good guy. All right, so Steve and Andy, I'll sort of connect with you guys after, and we'll just, unless anybody else wants to join us, we'll when we put something together as to when we're going to meet, we'll send something out to everybody just so that if you want to chime in, or we'll just sort of start doing some groundwork and report back and start piecing something together, so that when the time does come, I kind of look at, looking at everything as a whole. I'm sort of, I don't know how you guys feel about the vaccinations and how they're being distributed, but looking at it from an outside source, you think that they knew the vaccines were coming for about 10 months, and you'd have a set plan for once they do come. It's kind of like, I always equate it to a shortstop. Not wait until the ball gets to them to decide what they're going to do with the ball. Know exactly what they're going to do with the ball before the ball even gets pitched. I think we should be in that position where we should be ready once they say, okay, you can start, looking at allowing groups in and holding these, we should be ready to roll, so that it doesn't take us another 2 months to sort of get going.
Now, are there state funds that we could take advantage of to do some things like we mentioned, to aid in the situation where like the bathrooms haven't touchless, so that the amount of cleaning that needs to be done is minimalized. Are there funds out there that we can get our hands on so we could do some upgrades to support opening things back up in a safer condition?
I mean, and that's exactly one of the things we can start looking into, and come back and say, hey, we found, we can, whatever we can find, just lift every rock and look behind every tree and see what we can find. All right. Anything else on the reopening plan or town hall in general?
Nope. I went down to town today and checked it out. Everything looks good. The heat is working. I turned down the electric heat in the bathrooms because the building was in the high 70s, and I think it's mainly because of the electric. So I turned those down. The place is inundated with dead stink bugs. But other than that, it's in good shape.
Yeah.
Us, the stink bugs.
Yeah.
What was going on with the heat? Do we know?
I don't know. I didn't hear back from Troy on what they actually did to fix it.
Yeah. So I talked to Troy, and apparently part of the motor housing, and the fan had come loose, I guess through vibrations or whatnot. And so I asked him if it was the same company that had installed it, because obviously, I mean, that's something that should be covered by whoever installed it. This thing's what, 10 months old?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be vibrating and coming apart. So he hasn't gotten back to me on that. So, but he said it was a different company that he was able to get to service it. So we'll probably wind up having to pay that. And hopefully he's sort of looking at that for us. I haven't heard back.
And so, Steve, are you just checking on it, once a week or something? Or, is that something you want me to jump down there and check it once a week too, or?
It's one of those things as I'm driving by, like today I was coming back from getting a coffee and I thought, let's drop in and see. So it's like every other week or so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just do a quick. I also wanted to make sure that the Litchfield and Christmas and Litchfield committee put everything away in the storage room and just didn't dump it, which they did. So just a quick sanity check and everything looked good.
Hey, and I'm sort of jumping off topic, but that Christmas in Litchfield setup in front of the town hall, I kind of like that. I think that was
Agreed. It looked awesome.
yeah,
Oh, right.
did a real good job.
Yeah, hopefully they continue to do that every year.
I mean, we can still hold events down at Dara if they want, but I think the whole decorating and holding a kind of a ceremony out there would be kind of nice where they did it. So, all right, we're on to old business. Any old business?
Just one thing, I was thinking about with the contractor, for the field maintenance moving forward. Would it be wise to have, a single point of contact within the rec commission? So somebody can hear all the complaints or whatever and talk to them directly. That way they're not getting 10 emails from 10 different people, who knows when. I was just thinking it would be a good way to, communicate moving forward. And second to that, I was thinking, what if we did like a monthly meeting at one of the fields here and there, and we could rotate which fields, just so, if there's issues that come up along the way, they could be addressed a little quicker than some of the issues got addressed last year. And I just want to get people's thoughts on that.
Good idea to have a single point of contact, and I think as a commission we should spend a little bit more time, maybe as a group, going field to field, just to see the shape they're in, raise any issues, know exactly how things are going.
Yeah, I agree. And that point of contact could be the other way too, because there might be things that the contractor needs to let us know, and they're not sure who to contact. I mean, Brian was pretty good last year about communicating with us, but just to have that one point of contact to say, hey, get a hold of baseball and let them know that this has been overseeded, or especially if it comes time, if they're doing the treatments, if they're putting any kind of spray down, and we need to, coordinate that so that they're not interrupting a tournament or a game schedule, they can sort of time that. And like we were talking with, and actually I know we've discussed it in the past, but it really would be good for the contractor to attend at least one meeting a month with us, just to sort of give us a quick update, even if it's not in person, just some type of update that we can go over at the meeting.
We go back to one meeting a month in the summertime, right? So,
Well, we have, but what we found is we've gone to one meeting a month, but we always wind up having to meet twice in August because that's when we're getting our budget ready.
yeah.
So it's really June and July that we'll go down to one meeting, and then August we go back to two usually.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea. Two things on that. One, Mr. Ruggles, would you mind being the liaison?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
And two, have we sent him our legal contract? I believe we're going to have the town council write something up. Have we received that legal contract back yet?
I have not seen it from legal counsel thus far. Have you, Andy?
No, I have not.
All right, I will ask Troy about that tomorrow when I speak with him.
And I like the idea of having one point of contact, so there's no crosstalk. And Andy's an awesome guy, and he's easy to work with, and I think he'd do a great job at that. And him and Ryan have a good relationship.
Just one other thing, kind of follow up to that. In respect to field usage in times, like, we don't have any sort of calendar that we could have each organization fill out and just say, these are our times that we generally use the fields. We have practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. And just so that, they have an idea of, when it's not being used. I know the school sometimes uses it at, off times during the week or whatever. So I was just thinking that maybe that would be a way to simplify things as well.
I think it would be great to have a master calendar per field. Maybe even a drop down, you pick the field you want and it populates the calendar. That will make it a whole lot easier for the contractor to know when the field's going to be used, what he wants to do his maintenance on it, when he wants to mow, when he wants to go on and fertilize and so forth. It also gives us good visibility of who's using the field and when.
Yeah, and it may open up the fields to other people a little bit more too, when they're like, oh, well, the field's not being used here. We can go out and throw the frisbee around or something, or we could go use this field instead. Just a thought. I don't know how hard that would be to pull together.
We tried to do it one time, and the toughest, like when it was putting together the one for Dara, the difficult thing is, we had set it up, and you have fields 1, 2, and 3 for softball, and you have the soccer field, and it's like, okay, you put down something's being used. Well, if I'm only using one softball field, then a ton of the field is left open. But if somebody's having a soccer practice there, all of Dara is being used. You can't do a softball practice or something. So it's kind of odd with the multi-use facilities. Sawmill's somewhat similar, but not quite, because you have the couple of different fields. But I think something that's a little bit more generic for each field is saying, hey, what's happening at Dara on Tuesday afternoons? And we can list multiple things, not specifically to a field, but just say, soccer, or LMS is using it from 2 to 5, and maybe afterwards they can put whole field, and then Litchfield girls softball from 5 to 8, field 1 type thing. The big thing is it's gonna change, particularly with softball. Baseball, you get a rain out and they move it to the next day. I don't know how quickly they'd be able to update those, but we could probably do a shared calendar of some sort with the organizations, and have like one person from that organization, because usually they'll have one that is a field coordinator, So that might be something that we could look at trying to do again. Google Calendar's come a long way since I tried to do it the last time, which is what, probably 8 years ago. So,
Yeah. It just might help us have a little better idea what's going on too. If there's a big tournament that we want to know that we don't know about, we could advertise, and it'd be nice if we could advertise that stuff for
Right.
the town.
but it's good when we're doing it for talent, and when basketball had a practice, and I would literally put in which practice it was. So Riley boys 5-6 rec team from this. Parents liked it because they could go, they could look and see, oh, what time's Joey's practice, and they could actually look and see it on that calendar too. So it's sort of like a central place for people to go and see what's going on. If people want to catch games, things of that nature. It would take a huge effort to coordinate it all. And I think the turnover in the different organizations will be a challenge to that, but it's always worth a shot.
I'm willing to start looking into it.
Yeah, because I know for baseball and softball, as long as we put the schedule in right, it automatically populates the calendar. And I think I can extract that data, and it'd be easy to link it back over. And as long as we stay active, like we are changing games, it will self-populate back into the calendar. So I just got to
Schedule practice as well, or just the games?
We schedule practice, we schedule games, we schedule everything. So we know what baseball fields and what softball fields are available.
Nice. And I know soccer does, because I know Granite State, you can actually look and see for the travel schedule, right, Mike? You can sort of see which fields are in use and when.
Well, yeah, I mean, the schedule for the state site, it gives you the schedule and everything. It doesn't, we don't necessarily have that. We don't schedule ourselves, therefore we don't really have it like loaded up on our end. We basically provide the link to their site.
Yep. All right. So, Andy, it looks like you're taking on a couple of responsibilities here. We always like that. Good.
I'll help you with that, Andy. I agree with it. We need some kind of
Yeah.
stability in our field so we know what's going on. We ran into a couple issues last year. Debbie Rice and her training wanted to use the basketball courts, but we authorized Pinkerton to use them, and there was a conflict. Our contractor wanted to get out and do something with the fields, but there was a practice going on that he wasn't worried about. And I think if we could at least have a calendar, Google calendars are dynamic, so as long as they're being updated, they could be shown on the Litchfield Rec website. So as long as we're being updated and proactive, our conflicts should be diminished.
And I think it'll really help the contractor to know, you can look at the start of the week and schedule what field he wants to go do when.
And maybe we can actually ask him to add some things in there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He could put in if there are certain treatments that need to be done. He could look and say, well, Friday mornings are a good day for me to be doing this. So you sort of put it out there so everybody knows. Let's, in the off chance that let's move a practice to Friday morning. We can sort of avoid that.
Baseball standpoint, I did offer that to him just to give me the days, and we could just lock it in the calendar, and nobody could practice, play, or anything on those days or at those times.
All right. Any other old business? Actually, I do have two quick things. We did get, they did approve a couple of our requests for encumbrances. I think, did everybody get that email? So we know, and I guess we did not have anything encumbered for painting of talent from the year before. So I think that was actually the year before that we put that in, and it wound up being, we didn't reappropriate that. The second thing, and Steve, you probably are my best bet at this. So the software for the locks at Talent came on a CD, and that CD is no longer in the office. It was put on that computer.
Okay.
Luckily, I had put it on my laptop as well, my personal laptop. So that's what I've used for the last year since that PC has died, or probably like 2 years now. But I kind of want to get that off my personal laptop and onto something that will, I know Kevin had given us, I don't know who was on the commission at the time when we were going to buy one, and Kevin arranged for us to get one from Town Hall. And I think it was one that Marty and Doc Brown worked on back in 1984. But it
So it'll
wouldn't.
be current this year.
So maybe I can work with you, and I don't know if there's a way to get the software off the actual laptop onto another. It's better on a laptop so it can get hooked directly to the lock, because there's no. There used to be it looked like a little. You remember the first handheld video games that were basically like the football, the little
Yep.
gray screens with the dot. It
Yeah,
looks like one of those.
RS-232.
Yeah. It looks like one of those, and it plugs in with a serial port into the back of a PC. You load the thing to this, then you bring it over to the lock, and then you upload it to the lock. But most of the PCs aren't coming with those serial ports anymore. So it's going to be something that we're not going to be able to use in the future. So hooking it right up to a laptop through a USB still works. But
Yeah, we'll definitely have to dig into that.
yeah,
Ultimately, it'd be great if it was cloud-based, but that's something we could work with the vendor on, see if they have something.
So,
well, it would have to be hardwired. Like
Right.
has to be hardwired to
You
something
have to
at
have
that point.
Yeah, the interface.
so there are cloud-based options out there, but I'm wondering if it's possible, maybe we can piggyback on the system that the town has for just the one door.
Oh,
That would be desired.
yes. Get rid of that old keypad.
All right. Any other business?
There was an email from Matt Lepore about the trails. Do we have to do anything with that, or is that more the state or the conservation?
I don't think we have. I know it was remember that site that Jason Brennan had put together, and it had all the trails on there. I think that's why we were copied on that, because I think we had a link to that, right?
Yeah.
And we had unofficial trails listed on there, and we were told basically to take it down. So, I mean, I guess if it's updated, Steve, if we want to put it back onto our site, we can do that.
Yeah, I responded to Matt saying that I will update the webpage with the official trail map. And I think Jay removed it from that virtual tour that had the unofficial trail map. I'll double check on that, make sure that it's updated. He was also, I met Matt at Dara Pond, and he was supposed to provide me some placards that we could hang up, basically saying that the ice is not monitored, kind of use at your own risks, that we don't go out and measure the thickness of the ice. I don't remember what he called it. He had some terminology for it.
But I guess that sort of brings me back, Chris. Have we had any luck in looking at any of the quality of the stuff from the camera?
No, I'll have to go out there and take the card out, put it into my computer. I'll get some video. I can do that probably this weekend.
Okay. I mean, no rush on it. Just sort of curious as to what we can see. And
Yep.
Have there been any issues out there since we put them up? Probably not.
No,
Good.
no, nothing I've heard of.
They're already working, Chris.
Good deterrent. No, I haven't been able to get a ladder out there with the snow on the ground and everything else. So.
I still haven't found them. I've looked and I can't find them.
I hope somebody didn't steal them.
and I guess my other question, and one of the neighbors here had asked me, and John, I don't know if he's still listening or if he just sort of says, "Oh, those guys are great. Just tell me when you're done." But they wanted to know what was going on with the tower in the parking lot, and if there was an idea of a timeline on that.
Yep. I didn't tune out. I actually addressed some of it on Facebook already, but right now, as I said in my update, we've been waiting for the foundation to be finished up at Colonial Drive so that we can have the cranes come in and lift all 3 towers at the same time. The foundation actually finished today, and we're just waiting for the curing time. And right now, we're targeting for the week of February 16th to raise all 3 towers.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. As I explained on Facebook, obviously COVID-19 got in the way. We're still waiting for Eversource to actually drop the power in. They put the poles in, but they had technicals. So we have some other issues down at Royal Memorial, but the towers should go up on the 16th that week.
Was there
They
is there any
restring that line?
I thought about it.
was there any discussion or any option of that light of installing another light on that pole?
On the 2 poles, I don't see any reason why you can't once the power's been put on it, but I can ask Eversource. It's our poles to use once they're there anyway.
Okay. I think
John,
parking
also you
lot could
mentioned
definitely use
that
some lighting.
the line going into the parking lot was low. Did they hang that higher? They string it up?
Yeah, so I did open up a call with Consolidated. They came in and they did stretch it a little higher. I think what the plan is once the primary lines go in and they're going to reattach it to that pole to pull it up even higher. So it hasn't been forgotten, but it's raised a little bit. It's up a little higher than it was.
Thank you.
All right. Any other business? Well, it's not a record meeting because we're already past the 32 minutes, which is our shortest meeting ever. So, all right. So I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Oh, Andy, before you do, can we have a roll call for the record so we know who is in attendance and who is not in attendance, please?
Sure. So we'll do a roll call vote because we have a motion and a second to adjourn. So Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Bosky,
Aye.
Commissioner Ruggles,
Aye.
Commissioner Ames,
Aye.
Commissioner Gannon,
Aye.
Selectman's Rep Weber,
Aye.
and Commissioner Collins. I say aye. So it carries 7-0-0, and that is our roll call for the evening. All right. Have a good night. Thank you, John.
But
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
be well.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Have a good couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.